We've created a parallel universe, as it were. Well, actually, no, you haven't, I'm afraid, is the answer. We're sitting here today above the world's, I think, second largest store of gold. In terms of payments, I don't think it'll be crypto.
Do you own any Bitcoin?
I don't, no. I don't think it has any intrinsic value. You know, it's terrible to see what's going on in Ukraine, but it is called the Bank of England into action. You know, I read somewhere somebody saying the other day that Russian sanctions shouldn't apply to the crypto world because the crypto world's different. Well, no, it isn't actually. I'm afraid that's you're deluded if you're in that world. Oh gosh.
We all know that the Bank of England is in charge of interest rates and inflation. What else is the Bank of England responsible for?
Well, it's interesting with the Bank of England. We do quite a very broad range of things. They're all focused really on our core objectives, which are, you said, monetary policy, price stability, low inflation, and financial stability. And they come together. The two things, sit very, very closely interconnected. So on the financial stability side, we look at both what we tend to call sort of overall financial stability or macro financial stability, and we are the regulator for prudential purposes of banks and insurers. But we do quite a lot more than that, actually, interestingly. We're heavily involved in payment systems. Mm-hmm. And of course, we do issue banknotes. And we do have, we're sitting here today above the world's, I think, second largest store of gold.
Yes.
We are serving the needs of the public of this country, and we have to, reflect the public of this country that we serve. A lot of the coverage of the bank is particularly focused on monetary policy, which is analytically, rightly a complex area. But there's a whole other area of the Bank of England which is about doing. Frankly, it's about doing things and doing things well. Whether that be, as say, implementing monetary policy, regulating banks and insurers, operating the settlement of payment systems, issuing banknotes. There's a very big, what I might call doing aspect of it. And just to give you, obviously the current, the best example of the moment. I mean, obviously terribly. It's terrible to see what's going on in Ukraine, but it is called the Bank of England into action for a range of things that we've done within our own remit to support the government in what it's doing. And one of my things that makes me most proud about this organisation is that we have a lot of skill and experience in this organisation, and we have people who are always prepared to sort of step forward and say, yeah, we can help and do these things.
But that is, it's a great example of just how varied the role can be and what the bank does in terms of, effectively we're almost trying to take a country out of the global economic system. That's not really been done before. That's a huge challenge.
I think what's happening in Ukraine is terrible, frankly. It is countercultural in a sense. I mean, we are in the business of financial stability. And obviously our direct responsibility is UK financial stability, but if you use the tools of, say, economic sanctions, how effective will they be?
What has the most impact?
Which are the more effective tools? What has the most impact? And
what would you not want to happen to us?
Well, yes, and of course you can view it through that lens, yes.
Which areas of the economy are growing the fastest, and which jobs are most in demand is the data showing?
At the moment, we have a very strong labour market in this country. It is, I think, one of the successes of economic policy in the broadest sense during the COVID era, that while we were concerned for much of the time that obviously we had this very big economic shock at the beginning of the COVID period, right at the start of my term. Actually, the economic impact of COVID attenuated as time went on. But for quite a good part of that period, we certainly thought we would see a rise in unemployment, and initially we would see quite a strong rise in unemployment. And frankly, of course, we haven't seen anything like that actually, and that of course is good news.
Has the economic impact been less than you think almost, with almost 40 people working from home 2 days a week now in white collar jobs, of course? Has the impact been less than you would have imagined, again, if you'd been told that in January 2020?
Yeah, probably yes is the answer, because I think if we'd sort of thought about it, never having really experienced it, we'd have sort of thought of big things that could go wrong.
One of the sort of big potential growth areas of the economy, of course, is kind of cryptocurrency and so on. And I know that this is something that the bank is looking at more. And obviously, as we've discussed, part of it, the primary purpose of the bank is kind of financial stability and so on, of which cryptocurrency is not a sort of particularly stable amount. But where are the potential opportunities for the UK economy in terms of, we've always been a financial services hub, and where does crypto play into that potentially?
Underpinning crypto is some important technological innovations, obviously in areas like blockchain, distributed ledger technology. And I think whatever the sort of the aspects of this world where the sort of the products that actually catch on are, I think there's a lot of promise and a lot of use being made of these technological innovations already, and I would expect that to continue. Precisely what form of digital currency, digital use actually ends up being the one that becomes the sort of the accepted norm. In terms of payments, I don't think it'll be crypto in a sort of Bitcoin sense of the term. I don't think I don't think that is really a practical means of payment. Well, there's a bit of the crypto world that is quite libertarian in its outlook and says, look, we're different. We've created a parallel universe, as it were. Well, actually, no, you haven't. I'm afraid is the answer. You're not in that world. I read somewhere somebody saying the other day that Russian sanctions shouldn't apply to the crypto world because the crypto world's different. Well, no, it isn't. Actually, I'm afraid that's. You're deluded if you're in that world.
Do you own any Bitcoin?
I don't. No. I mean, I have. I'm not to be honest with you, I'm probably not liked by the advocates of Bitcoin, because I have said I don't think it has any intrinsic value. It can have extrinsic value in the sense that people want to own it. People collect all sorts of things.